It was a damp, overcast evening in Westminster, the sort of weather that made even the most seasoned MPs sigh into their tea. The Commons was unusually tense, with Rishi Sunak standing at the dispatch box, his hands firmly gripping the edges as he addressed a restless Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this government remains steadfast in our commitment to economic stability and national security. We will not allow Labour's reckless tax and spend policies to drag Britain into the abyss. Sunak declared, his voice cutting through the murmurs of discontent from the opposition benches. Sir Keir Starmer, ever the composed barrister, adjusted his tie and leaned forward, his lips curling into the faintest of smirks. Prime Minister, is it reckless to invest in our NHS, to support working-class families drowning under the weight of your party's economic failures? Is it reckless to demand fairness when your Chancellor has spent more time shielding the elite than addressing the cost-of-living crisis? A low rumble of agreement surged from Labour MPs, while the Tories exchanged glances, some uneasy, others defiant. Jacob Rees-Mogg, ever the arch-conservative, scoffed audibly. "Oh, come now, Sir Keir. If we wanted to bankrupt the country, we'd simply hand you the keys to Downing Street." Laughter erupted from the Tory benches, but it was clear that the public mood was shifting. Outside Parliament, protesters lined the streets, their placards screaming dissatisfaction, "Fix the NHS. End energy poverty. No more Tory lies." In a small cafe near Whitehall, political strategist Emily Carter sipped her espresso, eyes glued to the live coverage on her phone. Across from her sat James Holloway, a veteran journalist from The Guardian, who was furiously typing on his laptop. "The tide's turning, James," Emily murmured, setting her cup down. For the first time in over a decade, Labour isn't just putting up a fight, they're actually winning the argument. James chuckled, never looking up from his screen. The question is, will the public trust Starmer enough to see him as a Prime Minister? It's all well and good criticising the government, but does Labour have a solid plan? Emily sighed, running a hand through her auburn hair. They've got to make their case clearer. People want hope, not just criticism. Meanwhile, in Downing Street, Sunak sat in his private office, staring at a pile of economic reports. He knew the numbers were grim: rising mortgage rates, stubborn inflation, and a voter base growing restless. His chief advisor, Daniel Whitmore, stood by the window, arms crossed. "We need a game-changer, Rishi. Something bold. Something that puts Labour on the back foot." Sunak exhaled sharply. "Like what? Another tax cut for the wealthy? That's what they expect. We need to break the narrative. We need a proper Brexit victory." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "We've exhausted that card. People are tired of Brexit debates. They want solutions. What about a major housing reform? Something that directly benefits working-class voters?" The Prime Minister rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "Perhaps. But it has to be substantial. We need to show them we can still lead." The days ahead were crucial. Labour's surge in the polls wasn't just a passing trend, it was a warning. Sunak had to decide, double down on Tory fundamentals or pivot toward a more centrist, voter-friendly approach. As the evening drew to a close, the battle lines were drawn. Starmer's Labour sensed victory within reach, while Sunak's Conservatives braced for the political storm ahead.